What the statistics say regarding PR practitioners who do start in college, majoring in PR, and continue in the field, because I haven't heard too many traditional career development stories myself, just moving up through the industry. But I got into it having been a journalist for 10 years. I was a print journalist in 5 different cities, I think. Finally ended up in Detroit. And in fact, this is my 20th anniversary.
Wow.
Being a Detroit. You should. 20 years old. I came here to write for the Free Press, and I was motivated about being in Detroit. Back then, probably still the same today. But when you were a journalist, when you were in journalism and you would tell people you're going to Detroit, Detroit has always had a great reputation within journalism as being a fantastic news city. If you want to learn how to be a reporter and cover the news, hardcore news, come to Detroit. But it was also seen as a major challenge, like going to a war zone would be in journalism. You know, something that's very exciting, something that will make you a good reporter, but also the quality of life might not be what you would like for it to be. That was the reputation that Detroit had. But I was excited about coming because I wanted to cover economic development. I wanted to cover small business development in a hardcore urban environment. And I just felt that Detroit had a lot of potential and that it would be on the rise. And I wanted to tell that story, and I thought some of the lessons I would learn would transfer to other cities. So I just thought it was a great place to be for what I wanted to do. But I was only at the Free Press for 3.5 years because the newspaper strike of '95 hit in the middle of the year, and I walked out with everybody else and never went back. I was actually on the picket line for 6 months. If I had to redo it, I don't think I would have stuck around. I would have changed cities or something, but not to make the story too long, but I had just come from Cincinnati, at the Cincinnati Enquirer, and the labor conditions there were so terrible. That's what drove me out of the city in the newsroom, that it made me a hardcore labor enthusiast or advocate, and so I was pro-union all the way. And I get here, and we go on strike, and I said, I'm going to stick with the union. I had also worked in Minneapolis, where the union was very strong, and I saw them win a strike. They threatened to strike, and the day everybody was ready to walk out, management gave in. So I said, unions work. When I went to Cincinnati, they didn't have a strong union. They walked over the people, mistreated the people. I said, I'm going to stick with the union. Here in Detroit, we know what happened. It wasn't a very successful experience, that strike. But after being out for 6 months, I heard that Mayor Archer was looking for a press secretary. And in fact, Cliff Russell, who was his press secretary, then told me about it. He was on his way out the door. So essentially, I got into public relations by joining Mayor Archer's staff as his press secretary. And almost as soon as I got there, he asked me to start writing speeches. And I discovered that I really liked it. And he liked what I was doing. And I just saw it as an extension of what I've been doing in journalism, talking about Detroit's redevelopment and how the city was getting stronger and where it ranked nationally and internationally, and how important Detroit was. And I just sort of saw it as a continuation of what I've been doing as a journalist, helping the mayor tell that story as press secretary and as a speechwriter. So after 5.5 years with Mayor Archer, actually those 2 jobs were driving me crazy. I was doing media relations all day, and then I would start writing speeches at about 7 p.m. and write all night, write until about midnight, then start it all over again at about 8 a.m. And that's a whole other story. But I basically had to make a decision after 3.5 years, realizing I couldn't do both and do them well. And I said, you know what, this media relations will drive you crazy. And
That's why I don't have any hair.
That's right, you did too. So I became a full-time speechwriter and a letter writer too for Mayor Archer, and took that skill into my life after Mayor Archer decided not to run for re-election. What I did was join a PR agency where we worked together. I think probably your experience was better there than mine was, Howard, because I couldn't stand it. I was there for 2 years, and it just didn't suit me very well. At the core, I'm a writer. I feel like I can communicate a message as well or better than anybody else. But event planning and pulling together a campaign to communicate the message, it's not my strength. I just have to admit it. I can do it, and I'm happy when it's successful, but that wasn't a core strength for me. And so I didn't enjoy agency work. But after that, I was able to join General Motors on their communication staff, and that was a serious experience. It's a whole other world, corporate communications, and it's challenging, but there are a lot of rewards too. So I learned a lot there, and I was a speechwriter. Well, you know what I did? It's funny. The first year at GM, I did event planning. Is what I did. I was holding. I was communicating with Hispanic and African American media across the country, and basically what we did was sponsor parties.
Okay.
At major conventions.
Some things haven't changed. You still do those types of things.
So actually, it was fun, even though I wasn't really in my comfort zone. It was fun. Everybody likes a party. But after that first year, I was able to focus on speechwriting for the final 3 years. And after leaving GM, I sort of being phased out by the economic downturn. I decided to go solo, and in the past year I've been able to focus on writing, working on 2 biographies, and I'm going to continue to do that because I really enjoyed it, writing full time.
That's interesting. You know, you touched on a lot of